What is up, people of YouTube.com? My name is Ryan18, and tonight I am doing my WWE Money in the Bank 2013 review live in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Wells Fargo Center. Let's get things started. We start off with the pre-show. It's the WWE Tag Team Championships are on the line. We have the Shield, who are the champions, going up against the challengers, the Usos. A pretty good match for the pre-show. It was live on the WWE app, and it was also live if you ordered it on pay-per-view. Pretty much the Shield would be victorious against the Usos. The Usos really gave it a fight. They had a chance a lot of chances in the match to become the champions, but fell short as Roman Reigns would hit the spear on Jey Uso to get the victory for the Shield. Then we would go right into the pay-per-view. We would have the Smackdown World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank ladder match, which would consist of the United States Champion Dean Ambrose of the Shield, Fandango, Jack Swagger, Antonio Cesaro, Damien, Sandow, Cody Rhodes, and Wade Barrett. A pretty good Money in the Bank ladder match. I personally think that the All Stars Money in the Bank ladder match, which I'll address later on in the video, was a little bit better, but not really a pretty bad Money in the Bank ladder match. Damien Sandow would actually screw over Cody Rhodes to become Mr. Money in the Bank. The Shield would also interfere in the match to try to see if Dean Ambrose could accomplish being Mr. Money in the Bank, but would fall short as Damien Sandow would be the SmackDown Money in the Bank winner. Then we have a Brad Maddox promo. Pretty much comes out saying, telling the crowd in Philly to thank Vicky for all of her hard work over the years and all that stuff, as she's now on the pre-show panel alongside Kofi Kingston, Josh Matthews, and the Big Show. So that was pretty cliche. Then we move on to the IC title match, the Intercontinental Championship match between The Miz and the Intercontinental Champion Curtis Axel. A pretty good showing from The Miz, but The Miz would fall short as Curtis Axel would be your victor and retain his Intercontinental Championship. Then we move on to the Divas Championship match between AJ Lee and Kaitlyn. Kaitlyn really having a fierce competition with AJ in this match. Kaitlyn had plenty of opportunities to capitalize on AJ due to the fact that AJ would actually ram Kaitlyn into the post outside, causing her elbow, to I guess get hurt, I should say. But AJ Lee would win with the Widow's Peak and would retain her Divas title. Then we would move on to the Chris Jericho versus Ryback match. Pretty much Chris Jericho owned most of the match, would focus on the injured knee of Ryback, but Ryback would come back with a roll-up to beat Y2J in Philly. So, I mean, Ryback pretty much going on a roll after losing to John Cena at Payback and also at Extreme Rules. So, I mean, Ryback trying to rebuild his stature to become WWE Champion, later on in his career. Then we move on to the World Heavyweight Championship match between Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler. A major reaction from the crowd at the Wells Fargo Center in Philly for Dolph Ziggler. A lot of boos for Alberto Del Rio, as Del Rio is now a heel. Del Rio pretty much didn't really have a lot of control of the match. Dolph Ziggler really capitalized on certain parts of the match, but AJ Lee would interfere, distracting Dolph Ziggler, and then Dolph Ziggler would get disqualified as AJ would accidentally hit Alberto Del Rio with the Divas title, and Del Rio is still your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Then we would move on to the WWE Championship match. I'm kind of upset about this due to the fact that it's not the last match on the card. It was actually the WWE All-Stars Money in the Bank ladder match, which would be the last part of Money in the Bank, which kind of ticked me off because now that just sets up that no one can cash in their Money in the Bank on the same night as the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which is kind of stupid, but I guess that's the way WWE is now, and that's all we can do. So pretty much it would be the WWE Champion John Cena going up against the World's Strongest Man Mark Henry. A lot of build up to this match, as of course Mark Henry would fake a retirement speech, and just to get to the WWE Championship and get to John Cena. Cena was pretty much brutalized throughout the match with Mark Henry. Mark Henry catching Cena midair, hitting the World's Strongest Slam on him. Cena would kick out. Cena's trying the STF on Mark Henry, but to no avail. An attitude adjustment failed, but then Cena would actually hit the STF one more time and would actually make Mark Henry tap, and John Cena is still your WWE Champion. Then we move on to the main event. Not a lot of matches on the card, so I'm sorry if you guys think I'm going fast, and sorry if you think the video is a little bit short. But that's pretty much the way the card is for tonight for Money in the Bank. And then we have is the WWE All-Stars Money in the Bank ladder match, the main event, which we saw the return of Mr. Monday Night, Rob Van Dam, looking great, very slim. Back when he was in TNA, he was kind of a little bit chunkier, but he really slimmed down. Looks like his old self. Did pretty good in the match. The Money in the Bank All-Stars ladder match would consist of course, RVD, Randy Orton, Christian, Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, and the best in the world, CM Punk. A very good match. At the beginning of the match, all 6 participants were surrounded around the ring. They didn't know who to hit first or who was going to go in for the hit first. So they all went after RVD, as RVD would get a major reaction from the crowd. So all the other guys in the Money in the Bank ladder match would go on to attack Rob Van Dam to get him out of the match, and then they would separate and fight each other. RVD pretty much had some pretty amazing stuff in this match. Hitting people with the Rolling Thunder, doing monkey flips. I mean, it was insane seeing Rob Van Dam, back in the WWE ring. And I can't wait to see him on Tuesday. So I'm really praying that he, whoever he faces on Tuesday on SmackDown, or this Friday on Friday Night SmackDown, I really hope it's a good match. Or if he just talks, or whatever the case may be. But anyway, pretty much more action was more involved. There was more action involved into this Money in the Bank ladder match. Sheamus went right through a ladder. The ladder completely broke, as Sheamus would be pushed off the top turnbuckle and crashed right into a ladder. Daniel Bryan and Sheamus were at the top of the ladder with a yes and no chance. As Daniel Bryan would hit Sheamus, everyone would say yes, 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 and with Sheamus hitting Daniel Bryan, everyone kept on saying no, no, no. But pretty much out of nowhere, RVD tries. Let me not try to get ahead of myself. Curtis Axel actually comes out to try to help CM Punk, but CM Punk would actually grab Curtis Axel, hit the GTS on him, and pretty much we have Paul Heyman coming out saying, "What are you doing? He's my best friend in the whole world." And then you have, as CM Punk goes up the ladder without no one else in the ring, Paul Heyman goes into the ring, hits Punk with a ladder that was laid out against the ropes. Multiple times, and would lay out CM Punk with the ladder, and then Paul Heyman would leave. Rob Van Dam would try to climb the ladder, but then Randy Orton out of nowhere pulls RVD down, but right into an instant RKO, and Randy Orton would climb all the way up to the top of the ladder, and would look around to see if any of his participants would be getting up, looked at the Money in the Bank briefcase, and pretty much grabbed it. And now Randy Orton is Mr. Money in the Bank for the first time in his career. So out of this whole pay-per-view, I give it an 8 out of 10. It was a pretty good Money in the Bank pay-per-view. It was a little bit better than last year's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Wasn't better than 2011. 2011, of course, I have over there. You guys have all seen it. Money in the Bank 2011 in Chicago, Illinois. Best pay-per-view ever. I mean, with Cena and Punk going at it, it was one hell of a pay-per-view. This one kind of doesn't really compare to it, but it comes in a close second. It was better than last year's, so it's pretty good. So this is pretty much it for this review, guys. What are your thoughts on Money in the Bank? What do you think about Randy Orton and Damien Sandow being Mr. Money in the Bank? And anything else? If I'm missing anything, what do you think about Paul Heyman turning his back on CM Punk? Do you think CM Punk's going to be turning face now? And do you think Randy Orton will be having a heel turn now that he's Mr. Money in the Bank? And until the next video, guys, I'll probably be doing a video tomorrow, probably my Raw review. If not, then I'll probably be talking about me going to see RVD and, talking about Smackdown and all that stuff. So until the next video, guys, don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at RyanSues18. Follow me on Instagram, also at RyanSues18. All links down in the description box down below. Don't forget to comment down below. Give me your thoughts on Money in the Bank. Until the next video, guys, I'm out. Deuce. Deuce.